What if I told you that a huge chunk of your grocery budget for greens is basically just a waste of water, transport, and space? Yeah, I'm talking about 90%. For every dollar you spend on things like lettuce or herbs, almost all of it gets lost in a system that's just, well, not very efficient. But here's where it gets really cool. NASA spent decades cracking this exact problem for deep space survival, figuring out how to grow fresh food with absolutely zero waste. And the solution they came up with? It's not just for astronauts anymore. It's the ultimate life hack for anyone living in a small apartment. So today, we are ditching the soil, we are ditching the sun, and we are going to build a high-yield, closed-loop farm that fits right on a single shelf. This is the science of the 7-day harvest.
Okay, let's get into it. The very first principle, and maybe the most important one, is what I call the closed-loop mindset. You have to start thinking like an astronaut, where every single drop of water is this incredibly precious resource you just can't afford to waste.
So what does that actually mean? Well, a closed-loop system is the heart and soul of hydroponics. It basically means that the water you give your plants stays right there, for your plants. It's not draining away into the soil or evaporating into the air like in a traditional garden. It's all contained. And when you see it laid out like this, the difference is just staggering. I mean, look at that. The giant bar on the left, that's your typical soil farm. And that tiny little sliver on the right, that's us. That's our apartment-friendly hydroponic setup. We're talking about a completely different league of efficiency. Which brings us to the big number. Hydroponics uses up to 90% less water. No, that's not a typo. It's a real stat that comes directly out of all that research NASA did, and it is the first pillar of our little high-tech farm. Okay, so we've got the water part figured out. Now let's build on that with our second pillar, engineering the perfect light. And I really do mean engineering. We're not just trying to replace sunlight here. We're going to create a very specific recipe of light that's designed for nothing but explosive growth. So it turns out that plants are actually pretty picky. They don't use the whole rainbow of light from the sun. And NASA figured out that for leafy greens, this is the magic formula, a mix of about 90% red light and 10% blue light. That level of precision is exactly what lets us grow things so incredibly fast. And here's the why behind that ratio. Think of it this way. Red light is the gas pedal. It tells the plant to just go, 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 driving all that leaf expansion and building up mass. But the blue light, that's like the structural engineer. It keeps the plant nice and compact and strong, and it stops it from getting all weak and stretched out, which we call legginess. The two together, they create the perfect plant. Now, the final piece of this light puzzle is simply time. We get to control the day length, what's called the photo period. So by keeping the lights on for 16, even 18 hours a day, we're basically overclocking photosynthesis. We're pushing the plant to grow at a speed that is literally impossible out in the natural world. All right, enough theory. Let's get practical and actually build your first system. We're going to use something called the Kratky Method. And trust me, it's the ultimate hack for apartment farming because it uses zero electricity. It's so simple. It's brilliant. But hang on a second. This brings up a really important question. If you know anything about hydroponics, you're probably thinking, wait, don't the roots need oxygen? Don't they drown without an air pump? So how does this super passive, no power method solve that problem? The answer is two little words, and it's the genius of the whole system, the air gap. Okay, let me walk you through this, because this is so cool. You just fill a jar with your nutrient solution. Step 1. Then you pop your seedling into a little basket called a net pot, so its roots are just dangling down in the water. Now here comes the magic. As the plant starts to drink, the water level slowly drops. And as it drops, it creates this perfect, humid, oxygen-rich pocket of air between the water surface and the lid. The plant literally creates its own breathing room as it grows. No pumps, no moving parts. It's a perfect self-regulating little world, all inside a jar. So you've got the system. Now for the fun part. What are you gonna grow? Let's go over the top 3 starter crops. These were chosen specifically for their speed, how tough they are, and of course, their NASA-tested performance. First up on the launch pad, we have outrageous red romaine lettuce. Now, this isn't just any old lettuce. This has the amazing distinction of being the very first food that was ever grown and eaten in space. It grows super fast, it's packed with antioxidants, and honestly, it's just awesome to grow a piece of space history on your own shelf. Next, for anyone who's a little worried about getting everything perfect on the first go, I highly recommend Mizuna mustard greens. These things are incredibly forgiving. They can handle lower light conditions way better than most other greens, and they give you a huge yield. It is the perfect confidence builder.
And finally, the undisputed champion of both speed and nutrition, microgreens. That number on the screen says it all. They can have up to 40 times the nutrients of their full-grown versions. It's just insane. And the best part? You can go from seed to harvest into 7 to 10 days. This right here is how you get that 7-day harvest we've been talking about.
So there you have it. The mindset for saving water, the recipe for perfect light, a brilliantly simple method to build, and your first 3 mission-ready crops. You now have the complete blueprint for a NASA-level farm on a single shelf. Your supermarket is now officially obsolete. The only question left is, what will you grow first?